Welcome in, guys. So we are doing our Bundesliga roundup. You can tell it's Germany because we've got the Cruise shirt in the background. And Dan's on the screen. Earth Mode Dan, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well. So we know that there are roughly 4 or 5 games left for most of the teams in the Bundesliga. Give us a rundown on where things are currently situated and how things stand.
Okay. Let's start with the big news of the week,
Yes.
which is at the bottom of the table. Schalke are officially relegated.
Yep.
They currently have 13 points. They're a million miles behind Köln and Hertha. But it was kind of confounded when they lost against fellow relegation battlers Arminia on Tuesday. So, yeah, by the time it gets to Saturday, this might not be new news, but it's, Schalke are now relegated. First time in 33 years that they've been relegated from the Bundesliga.
Wow. So Schalke are gone.
They're gone, baby, gone.
First team gone. Okay. Still quite a lot of teams in the battle for relegation, though, above that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's quite open, I would say. So you've got Köln and Hertha both on 26 points.
Yeah.
Then you got Mainz 2 points ahead, Arminia 2 points ahead of Mainz. However, Hertha and Mainz have 2 games in hand. So there's still a lot of movement and not many points between them.
Yeah.
I would say Mainz are in really good form. They're third in the form table overall. So they're in the ascendancy. Whether they can continue that or not is another question. Maybe they've kind of picked up form a little bit too late, given games in hand and the games that are coming up. It looks like actually Hertha have the easier run because they have to play Schalke, Arminia, and Köln, 2 of which are at home. So Hertha have it in their own hands, I would say.
Yes.
But just a reminder, Schalke, the bottom 2 get relegated. The team in third bottom go into a relegation playoff or promotion playoff, depending on which way you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still very open.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking up the table and I would say, even Augsburg, who are 11th on 33 points, are not safe. 33 points. So they're 9 clear of Köln, but with Hertha, with those 2 games in hand, a couple of wins and Augsburg are in a lot of trouble. And you look below them and Hoffenheim and Werder are in some hideous form.
Yeah.
And if Werder were to go down with Schalke, that would be unfounded, really, wouldn't it?
Werder Bremen are in terrible form. What is it? They've lost 5 out of 6.
Yep.
They do have a game in hand, against some teams around them.
Yeah.
So,
but when you're in that sort of form, a game in hand probably isn't what you want.
No,
that's another game to lose, isn't it? And it's another, if you've only got 4 games left, you do that rallying cry and you think, do you know what? We get 1 or 2 wins out of these 4, we can push. When you've got the 5 games left, if you lose that next one, the rallying cry can still happen, but as soon as you lose another one, it's got to be really deflating when you're down there, especially if Hertha or Mainz play one of their games in hand before Werder next play. That gap becomes very, very small.
Yeah.
And pressure really goes on Werder then.
Yeah. And as I said, Arminia are in good form as well. So we'll come on to predictions later, but you could see any one of Hertha, Mainz, and Arminia kind of avoiding relegation right now. And as you say, maybe Werder get dragged into it if they don't kind of buck their ideas up.
Yeah. Okay, so top end of the table.
Yes. So quite a bit of change in terms of points gap since last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Bayern are 10 points ahead of Leipzig right now. So it's definitely looking like another Bayern championship. This was kind of, so they played each other fairly recently.
Yeah.
At the Red Bull Arena. Bayern won 1-0. It was a Goretzka winner. It was a fairly even game, but that was the turning point really in this title fight. I think there was 4 points gap between them last time we spoke, maybe 5.
Yes, yeah, it was close.
Yeah, now it's 10 points. So Bayern won that without Lewandowski. He's been out a few games. You probably saw in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, missed the Poland versus England game as well in the international break. So, yeah, big miss for both Poland and not so much Bayern, as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, you might argue in the Champions League, they could have done with him.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they've won. They're going to charge ahead and get the title now. Leipzig, after that 1-0 defeat against Bayern, they kind of dropped points in a couple more games. Against Hoffenheim, they drew 0-0 and they lost to Köln, who are probably the one of the worst form teams in the league right now. So Leipzig have kind of thrown it away. There have been Nagelsmann has been criticized a little bit, especially in that Bayern game, for not playing a recognized striker.
Yeah,
and as we've talked about before, they don't score a huge amount of goals.
No, in comparative terms, no. I mean, they're I think they're still third top scorers, but I mean the teams who have scored more have got 10 goals more each, and then Bayern have got 30 goals more. So
yeah, you got Bayern, you've got Dortmund, and you've got Frankfurt all scoring quite a few more goals than them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Leipzig's strength has always been in their defense, but if you can't score the goals and you concede one, then you're in trouble, aren't you? So they've slipped away, unfortunately. And actually, they're closer. Frankfurt are now and Wolfsburg are both closer to them than they are to Bayern. So there's a possibility that they might even not get second place.
No, I mean Wolfsburg have got a game in hand, which would then put them 4 points behind Leipzig.
Yeah, I would. Frankfurt are the form team. They're the second most form team in the table behind Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
So they've, even after last time where I said they might slip away because they don't score enough goals, they've actually scored quite a few goals recently, and they've been doing really well. Silva's still banging them in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Frankfurt in great form. Wolfsburg have the game in hand, and they were previously in third. Now they're currently in fourth, but they could reclaim that third place.
Yeah. And as it stands, I mean, Dortmund sat in fifth, and they're adrift points wise as well. And I mean, they've got a game in hand, but they look as though they're in a battle now with Leverkusen for that final spot in Europe, which, to not see Dortmund in a European competition again would be almost as unheard of as seeing Werder get relegated or Schalke get relegated.
Yeah, it will be a massive blow.
Yeah.
If not only because of them not getting in Europe, but the potential for losing a bunch of star players, and the fact that their whole philosophy about kind of using and bringing in youth players, if they weren't to get Europe, then it's a huge shock to the system, because it's really great what they're doing. It's just not working out consistently for them at the moment.
Yeah,
they're 5 points behind. They do have some important games coming up end of season. They play Wolfsburg away, Leipzig at home, and Leverkusen at home. Okay. So some big games in there. Could be defining.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And then we'll have a brief scout through the middle of the table, because I don't want to feel like we're leaving someone out.
Yeah.
Mönchengladbach, Union Berlin, Freiburg, and Stuttgart all sat in the middle of the table. There we go. Essentially, not really anything to. Well, I say not anything to play for. Mönchengladbach have got their game in hand, and Union Berlin have got a game in hand, which would then only put them 1 point behind Leverkusen. So theoretically, even though they seem as though they're sort of in that mid-table non-entity. That one game in hand could make a massive difference for them.
Yeah, it absolutely could. And as we said, Leipzig playing Dortmund as well. I think it's one of the last games of the season. Now, someone's going to drop points there, either Dortmund or Leverkusen or both. So there does open up a potential for someone to sneak in at the last minute.
Yeah. Actually, it's definitely one to keep an eye on, because there is still, even with only a few games left, there is still a lot of interchangeability within that. Brilliant. So, league roundup complete. We will be back to speak to Dan in a very short while around the players who are performing at the moment and whether they can drag their teams onto the next level, whether they can get them into Europe, save them from relegation, or do nothing and just kill the season off. We will also get Dan's update on what he thinks is going to end up at the end of the season. I used too many ends there. I need a thesaurus. How the season is going to finish. Dan's going to tell us what he thinks is going to be the way. Don't miss it, guys. We will be back very soon. Welcome back in, guys. So we've had a league update with Earth Mode Dan. We are now going to be getting the players update, a little bit on the stats there, and we are going to be finding out what Dan thinks is going to be the end of season winners and losers. So, Dan, player-wise, Lewandowski hasn't played for ages, is top goal scorer. That's not going to be taken away from him in the next 4-5 games, is it?
No. He scored 11 more goals than Andre Silva, who's second top goal scorer. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to feel like a broken record because we're going to be repeating a lot of the players that we've talked about in previous episodes. But it just goes to show that these are the most consistent players over the course of the season. Lewandowski is 35 goals. It's very impressive. He scored, I think, he's contributed 41% of Bayern's goals or something like that. So crazy stats, really. His teammate Muller up there was 17 assists. So really good numbers there for him as well. And we talked about it before, but there was signs or signals of Muller leaving a couple of years ago, but he's in kind of some of the best form of his life at the moment.
Yeah. I know we sort of said before where he's kind of one of those players that always crops up. And when you watch him, you think this guy's not a footballer, but assists are there. He gets goals. And no matter who Munich bring in, Muller is always seemingly a fulcrum. He'll get pushed out for a very short period of time, but then he's back with a bang, redefined, reimagined, new style Thomas Muller, playing in a slightly different position and delivering again.
Yeah, you said that. I mean, they've got players like Koeman, Sane, Gnabry, like all pushing for positions that Muller would think that he would play in, but Muller's always finding a way to get in the team. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And every one of those players, you would look on paper and say, do you know what? They're better than Thomas Muller. But somehow he delivers consistently and keeps his place. But yeah. Andre Silva, obviously been picking up goals for Frankfurt, up to 24 now. So, I mean, he is having a very good season and he's scoring quite a few goals over the past sort of couple of months as well, by the look of it.
Yeah, he hasn't slowed down, which is great to see. And that was a worry. That was something I talked about before, that Frankfurt might not score enough goals and they rely on him quite a lot. But actually the combinations between Kostic, Silva, and also Kamara and Silva have really kind of helped Frankfurt to continue to score and stay kind of in strong contention for Europe. So I think Kostic has got 12 assists. Kamara has 11 assists. So really good numbers there as well.
Yeah. Erling Haaland obviously starting to get more goals in the Bundesliga again because Dortmund are out of the Champions League and he's probably playing every game now. So they're in no need to save him for
Yeah.
Champions League matches. And it's turning out well for him because it means, I mean, I think he's jumped up with another 4 or 5 goals since we last talked. So,
yeah, he's on 23, so just a goal behind Silva, and I'm pretty sure he's played a fair few games less as well.
yeah,
So he's very consistent. I do wonder. I don't watch all the games, but as you talked about there, like saving him for Champions League, like what is his fitness levels like? Why can't a young guy like that play every single game?
yeah. I don't, and the weird thing from that point of view, what it almost makes it look as though not a huge amount of people pay much attention to the Bundesliga. You know, it's kind of almost one of those forgotten leagues a lot of the time. People talk about the Liga, Serie A, Premier League. So it's almost like Dortmund are saying, well, actually, let's get this guy playing in Europe so everyone else sees how amazing he is and we get more money out of it. Let's have him competing against the best teams in Europe. So the best teams in Europe want to pay premium money for it. It's almost like a shop window.
Yeah.
Which I find really bizarre, but you're right. I mean, there's no way Dortmund can sit there and say, do you know what? He's only 20. We don't want him to suffer burnout because he isn't going to be at Dortmund long enough for them to ever worry about that. So,
yeah. They have proven to be a selling team over the years, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they do really well in the transfer market by up and coming or underrated players, make them much better or show them how good they are and then get someone else in for cheaper as an alternative. So that's kind of their model. And it has worked out really well for them. But this season, as we've seen, they're struggling to make that top 4 at the moment.
Yeah.
Haaland does get goals. Sancho does get assists and does play. He does link up really well with Haaland, but they're just too inconsistent at the moment, and that's been the big problem for Dortmund. So yeah, if they don't make that top 4, then it could be the last season for Haaland and Sancho.
Yeah. And if they do make that top 4, it could also be the last season for Haaland and Sancho. I think.
I hope it's not the case. I'd love to see them play there for at least a couple more years, see how far they can take Dortmund.
Yeah.
Especially with the other players around them. They've got some good experience there, but also some really good other young talents, as we talked about previously. So, I mean, if they can keep them together for a couple of years and just see how far they can push Dortmund, that'd be nice.
It would be lovely. Is it going to happen? It's probably not going to happen, but it is definitely something that would be a nice thing to see. And Dortmund not feel like they've got to sell their best talent, but we know, as you say, they are a selling club historically. They big up players, make them look very good, sell them on for huge amounts of money, replace them with someone for a lot less. So, and then get that person to perform again. So you don't see huge amounts of bad transfers going through Dortmund. So it's a model that they have. I can't imagine they're suddenly going to change it, but we will see. We will see. Another Champions League space could well change that. 4th, Wout Weghorst. Obviously, Wolfsburg still performing. Weghorst still picking up a few goals in there.
Yeah, again, 19 goals, not bad. I mean, Wolfsburg, I think, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think they're better defensively than they are going forward. But Weghorst still getting 19 goals, 7 assists as well. So he's contributing a lot for them.
Yeah.
I think he combines well with Schalke, who they kind of contribute to a number of the goals between them. So
yeah, second best defense in the Bundesliga, but attacking wise, down in 7th, 51 goals. So, so 19 goals out of the 51 scored. Not a bad return at all. We then drop down again. We've got Andre Kramaric at Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim struggling lately, and Kramaric hasn't scored since we last spoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't notice that actually, but it's probably not a surprise. He stopped scoring the team stop playing well, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's always hard to be a goal scorer in a team that's not playing well, isn't it? You're gonna lose form or lose opportunities or chances at some point.
Yeah, unless you're an Erling Haaland or a Kylian Mbappe, where the ball can get knocked long and you can pick it up on the halfway line and run directly at goal, then you're going to struggle. Kramaric is a player who needs chances created for him. He's not going to be able to get that ball, turn and beat the defence. So, yeah, the goals will stop. And then we have a new entry in there with Stuttgart for a Kladych. Sasha's in there with 14 as well for Stuttgart. Obviously, Stuttgart are doing okay mid-table. They've been losing a few games, so obviously he's scoring some consolation goals. But he's jumped up into the table where he wasn't last time. We dropped down into the assists. We sort of touched on Müller, Kostic and Kamada. We've got Jonas Hoffmann in there as well from Mönchengladbach, and Joshua Kimmich is still in there as well. So I don't think there's really, Kamada I don't think was in the list last time. He's the only new entry. Everyone else is still the same. Müller has obviously bagged a shed load of additional assists since we were last talking, which is weird that he's picked up more assists since Lewandowski hasn't been playing.
Yep.
Not sure who he's teeing up.
Postcard. I'm not sure.
No. But yeah, he's teeing someone up. No idea who it is. In the bookings and sendings off, there's nothing major to shout about. No one with ridiculously high ones. 10 yellow cards in 30 games is actually fairly tame. And no one with more than one red card across the whole of the Bundesliga, which is, again, very bizarre. So we'll skip over that and we will go back. I don't think we really need to ask you who's going to win the league. Bayern need to win one game of their last four and the league is theirs. So.
Yeah. I'm predicting Bayern to win the league.
Good stuff. You win.
Yes.
But top four, what can you see happening top four? Where are your predictions for the Champions League spaces?
Okay, well, I haven't thought about this, so I'm just gonna go with the flow. I would say Leipzig, Frankfurt, and I'm gonna have my fingers crossed for Dortmund getting number 4.
Okay,
they have got some big games coming up. If they can beat Wolfsburg in there, it might even be the next game is against Wolfsburg away. Then that's a huge win. And that can get them a little bit closer. Then they got Leipzig and Leverkusen coming up. So I'm hoping Dortmund can do it and get that final spot.
So guys, what we will do on down the local on Saturday, we will have a quick review of the games because they will have all finished. And Wolfsburg Dortmund, as Dan rightly says, is a game. It is also a game between Leverkusen and Frankfurt.
Ooh, I missed that one.
So that's the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, 2:30 kickoff for Wolfsburg and Dortmund, and Bayern could be champions when they play Mainz at 2:30 as well. So we will do a quick roundup on those on Down the Local on the special edition on Saturday night, so we can see what's happening there. So we're going with Dortmund in on 4th. Are you then saying literally just those two swapping places, Dortmund and Wolfsburg?
Yeah.
So Wolfsburg, So Wolfsburg are going to pick up that Europa League spot, and then relegation. Schalke down. Who's going to be going with them?
Köln. I think Köln are definitely down.
Köln are down.
I think their form is just too bad. Even though they did beat Leipzig in the last game, I don't see them turning it around. I'm going to say the playoff place will go to. I'm going to say Arminia will go in that playoff
Any
place.
particular reason? Is that because all the teams around them have got games in hand, or?
Yeah, Mainz are in form. They've got games in hand. Hertha have got some big games. It's pretty much it's in Hertha's hands. They beat Schalke, Arminia, and Köln. Then
Yeah.
that's a chunk of points that will kind of get them into safety.
And Arminia have got the worst goal difference by 5. And actually, it's significantly worse. 5 next to Mainz, but actually significantly worse than all of the other teams around them. The next nearest is Werder and Hertha, who are both 9 goals better off. So it is a big chunk. So there we go, guys. You've heard it here first. Top 4 in Germany will be Bayern, Leipzig, Frankfurt, fingers crossed Dortmund, and Wolfsburg will then be taking that Europa League spot. Going down, we already know Schalke are there. Cologne will be then next. And Armenia will be filling in that playoff spot. Dan, it has been a pleasure. We will also, depending on what time we put this out, we'll have either already heard and seen you on the draft on Saturday.
Winning the draft.
Yeah. Winning the draft. I'm not allowed to win my own anymore. Winning the draft, or congratulations on winning the draft, Dan, because you'll be on after. One way or the other, we'll get double Earth mode on Saturday. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your input as ever, my friend. But for now, we will finish up with a little perfunctory German Oktoberfest music.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.